Now you already got me right where you want me, baby. I just want you, man. How does it feel? How does it feel? Did I wanna know how it feels? How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah, wanna stop. Silly little games you and me play, and I'm feeling right on. Feel the same way, baby. Let me know. I love to make you well. In between your thighs, I love when it comes to you. I get so excited when I'm around you, baby. Oh, baby. How does it feel?
I'm gonna take myself a piece of sunshine and paint it all over my sky, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. I'm gonna take the song from every bird and make them sing it just for me, yeah. Birds got something to teach us all about being free, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. And I think I'll call it morning from now on. Why should I survive on sadness and tell myself I've got to be alone? Why should I subscribe to this world's madness, knowing that I've got to live on? Knowing that I've got to live on. Knowing that I've got to live on. Yeah, I think I'll call it morning from now on.
Happy Monday, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Happy Monday in this Maycember. It is still very chilly. Y'all are up early? I'm up early. Welcome to LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Good morning, Harry. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, all the auntie moms, all the uncle moms, all the dad moms. Happy Mother's Day to the incarcerated moms, the moms who have passed, the adopted moms, all the moms. Happy Mother's Day. I had a good Mother's Day. The Ivy League cooked brunch on Saturday. It was lovely. They gave me flowers and a card and a gift card to somewhere, to Target, which I should have brought with me yesterday because I went shopping at Target. But that's all right. I live to shop another day. Let's see. That was Saturday. It was wonderful. And then yesterday, our annual besties go to Ion in Middletown for brunch. Although Ife couldn't make it, she was with her family. And so Markeisha and I went, and Markeisha and I had a good time. Little longer because they're a little busy on Mother's Day, and most places are kind of short of staff, but it was well worth the trip. We had a good time. I got leftovers in the fridge. I had some raspberry pancakes with the matcha drizzle, baby. And they do the best potatoes. And then they do this rice paper bacon, which is, oh my Lord, so good. So good. So good. And blueberry, no, two passion fruit margaritas. Delicioso. So that was yesterday. And then Ife and Markeisha went to see Devil Wears Prada. I just wasn't in the mood for the movies yesterday. I kind of want to see Devils Wear Prada, but I kind of will just wait till it streams. I don't know if there's any black people in it. So I'm gonna take my time and you know wait for it to stream. That's it. That's it. I think the weekend was very relaxed. I'm a week out from exams, and we're waiting for exam uh grades. I don't think I'm just gonna relax about that. You know, I'm just gonna relax because I don't know what else to. There's not too much I want to do about that. So, but I got some good stuff coming up this week. The NAACP Freedom Fund dinner is Thursday. I will be there. My first gala of the season. I'm only going to two, I think. This one and the Jack Gala. So my gala season is limited this year. I'm a law student, so I can't be in these streets like I've been past histories. So that's that. I'm going to the Symphony Gala on Friday. They're having a gala in the gardens at the estate. So I just want to go and check that out. So hopefully the weather will be it's supposed to rain Friday. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This May has been feeling like April. Like April showers bring May flowers. So this May December weather, it was cold. It's a little chilly. So it's a little chilly. It's colder than I think it should be for almost mid May. So I'm waiting for some real weather to show up. Are y'all like that? I'm like that. Or maybe I'm just aging. Tuesday, 80-degree weather. So by the time next weekend rolls around, the temperatures are going to climb. But it's still going to be like rainy and kind of damp. Well, maybe we're turning, it's not snow. Yeah, well, no, I'm glad it's not snow. But I want some real sun. I want some heat. But I'm bum 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 bum. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. So I want some heat. I throw on a poncho this morning on top of my caftan because it's chilly. I wasn't expecting it to be this chilly. I was like, darn it. It's a little chilly. So it's 48 degrees right now. And it's 48 degrees. The high is gonna be 62. So, it's gonna be cloudy conditions all day. So you're not gonna see much of the sun. Tomorrow's your good Sunday. It'll be 62, but it'll be sunny. or whatever. So I've got projects that I'm working on this week. So that's what I'm going to be doing starting today. I'm giving my space some care because it's been looking like a trap house. So for those of you who don't know what a trap house is, just go look it up. Just go look up trap house. But I need to. But I did go to TJ Maxx yesterday, and I'm redoing my bed linens because it's time. I was gonna get a new mattress, but I'm gonna save my money. I'm gonna get a mattress topper, which is expensive too. But a new bed was gonna run me like between 11 and 1400, and I just don't want to spend the money just yet with these economic times. So I will invest in a good topper between 150 to $300. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me a topper, and I'm going to get me a latex organic topper. And I'm going to flip my mattress, and I'm going to put the topper on, and I'm going to let that see if that'll give me, a comfortable sleep for a little bit longer. So that's what I'm going to do. That's the decision I made, and I'm going to stand by that. So I'm going to start to throw some paint on these ugly, hideous walls. I need some light bulbs for the ceiling fan because it's out of light bulbs. It's got like one light bulb. And I was in Home Depot yesterday, but I didn't take the bulbs with me. I just went into Home Depot just to look at some paint swatches, but I'm going to I was just messing around at Home Depot just to see what was, out there and available. And you know what? You know where Home Depot and Lowe's fail? Like all these DIY people, they should put that section for all the DIY people. With the peel and stick stuff and the paint treatments. They started out doing that, and then they whisk it away to cater to more contractor kind of stuff. But I think if they created a place where all the DIY people could go and find all the stuff that they need accessible, I think they could really do some good. Because as it is, people just go online and order stuff. But if you could see hands-on stuff in the store, like yesterday, I found the peel and stick tile that is not connected to the tile. It was way over there by appliances. And I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it. I knew it was in the appliance area, but I could never find it because they got, it's like an appliance farm over there. So I walked down an aisle and came up an aisle, and it was right there. I found it. And I would have never found it if I'd not circled back around and walked up this particular aisle. So, but they didn't have a big choice. So I was like, and why is it over here? Do you think people are going to mix it up with the regular tile? It says peel and stick. So that's what I mean. And then all the peel and stick wallpaper and all that, it's way in the back with the temporary shades. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's an afterthought. So Home Depot and Lowe's, if you carve out a section for do-it-yourself people, as seen on TikTok, as seen on Facebook, as seen on Instagram, and create those spaces, I think you could get you could get more than just a contracting clientele. And I know contracting is a big deal, but you got a lot of do-it-yourself people who got to wander around your stores to figure out where things are. That's my point of contention. My helpful 2 cents that you did not ask for. But if they created that space, it would just do wonders, I think. And then have a designated person over in that space to answer questions so you don't got to go hunting. So That would be so good, you know. And then you could bring in the DIY people who are really doing this stuff, and they can teach a class, or they could, all the popular DIY stuff. They could be on tour around the country about, this is the wallpaper I like. This is how you put it up. Do you know what I mean? Like all that kind of useful stuff. Because I'm telling you, every homeowner wants just a DIY project. No, we're not knocking down walls, but we want to be able to like put up stuff, you know. You want to be able to put up stuff, like you see on the Instagram and TikToks. Just my 2 cents. I know I do. I like watching all the paint. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go over my bathroom tiles. I'm not pop. Those tiles are not getting popped, and I don't have the money to do a gut, so that's not happening. But they have stuff that I can go over those tiles and the tub. To take me like a weekend to do it. But I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm not going. I don't. First of all, I don't want to live with that hideous. I don't know what color green that is. And I could just figure out how to do it. It comes with instructions, so I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it at the end of the week. That's my goal, to reglaze that tub and that shower. I'm just going to make it white. I'm going to make it all white. You know why? Because it's hard to find color. I could order it online, but I don't know what color I want. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to make it all white. The tub, the tile, and I got the whole bottom part of the bathroom is tile. So I'm just going to get 2 kits. One kit specifically for the tub and the shower area, and then the other kit for the rest of the space. Open the windows, buy that mask, pull that sink out so I could get behind it. I got a new sink that I got in the garage. When my sister comes, we're gonna put that joker in. It needs its own faucet, so I'll get a faucet. But I gotta pull it out so I could do the white treatment behind the sink. I think, yeah, I think I have to do that. And I'm just gonna make it all white. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I want to pull out. I have this ridiculous medicine cabinet light fixture thing, and my bathroom is designed for a short person, so the sink is lower and the mirror is lower. So I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone episode every time I stand in my bathroom, because I gotta duck down and look in the mirror. It's fine. It's fine. But I want to take that joker off. I don't know what is behind it. I had to take that off and put another mirror and then some different light fixtures. So that's what I want. I want to do that, and then put some new paper up in the bathroom proper, because that paper that they have in there now is hideous. So I got my work cut out for me for this summer. These are summer projects, real summer projects. Because school starts at the end of, I have summer school that starts the 18th. But, that's 2 classes, one online and one in person. So that's not going to be too much of a heavy lift. But school starts, my day program starts back at late August, where, I have to go up there and I've got, 3 classes. So I want all this done. So when I walk into the fall, I feel like I have a bona fide living space, and not this, I moved in last year, dropped my stuff, and then went into doing 8 million things. We moved in, we had to move out of the other space. We moved in the space, we dropped stuff. We went right into a play for 3 weeks. Then after that, went right to school. So I never had a moment to really think about. I've been thinking about the space, but not plan for the space. I just hung up like last month some artwork. I'm gonna take it all down so I can paint the wall, but I just needed to make it look like I do live here. So, but yeah, so I've got stuff to do. I'm gonna mount my TV on the wall. I think I'm gonna move that bomb chest somewhere else in the space. I think because it's big. It's too big where it is. And then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna move things around, see how that goes. So, so yeah, that is my life in paradise. So I just thought I'd give you an update on that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't I think I'm gonna save my Tennessee conversation for later in the week because I know America is slipping into darkness. You know, slipping into darkness. And I've just been watching the news and watching all this uh, play out. You know, so uh, yeah, I'm just gonna mind myself for a minute and formulate my opinion. And I'm with the Huff Post with this ridiculous op-ed by Melania Trump with her stupid ass. I, that woman is ridiculous. We must return values back to women and families. Girl, if you don't shut up, girl, go shopping. Go get you a new lipstick or a new shoe. Because you are not, you are probably one of the most unqualified people to talk about anything. Just, you know what? Just, girl, just go sit down. Shh. Just go be best somewhere. Go be best in Rodeo Drive or something. Do you know what I mean? Because, and you know what? I hope the courts make Trump rebuild the East Wing and put up Mar-a-Lago as collateral. He had no business tearing it down. I don't know why he thought he could treat the White House like it's his house. Like you out. You're gonna be out. There's not gonna be a third term, dude. First of all, you couldn't survive a third term. And fourth of all, people are gonna adhere to the Constitution. I know that for Trump the Constitution is an annoyance. To want to be dictators, rules are an annoyance. And to all you white people out there, and for me, I was saying MAGA was Nazis, but I'm just gonna MAGAs are KKK. And I first I thought maybe a sophisticated KKK, but there's nothing sophisticated about them. They're all stupid. So MAGAs equal KKK equal Nazis. It's all of you MAGA people, Nazis and Klansmen. Yes, Klansmen. That's it. Just Klansmen. Make America great again. As black people, we know what that means. And so now they're whispering. I hear these, they're raising this. Let's see if we can get the 14th Amendment undone. And for those of you who don't know what the 14th Amendment is, because some of y'all are stupid, most of y'all are stupid. Now, this is just one more tool in the weapons of mass distraction. But the 14th Amendment was adopted in 1868. It's a cornerstone to the Constitution. And it is It granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, including former slaves. And guaranteed equal protection and due process under the law. So why does that matter so much? Well, it significantly expanded federal civil rights protections, restricting state actions from forming the basis for major Supreme Court decisions on equality. So so when you hear that, you have to think: do they want us to return back to slavery? See, because birthright citizenship, and people don't know this, overturning the Dred Scott versus the Sanford decision, because that established birthright citizenship and overturned the Dred Scott versus Sanford decision. So the due process clause prohibits states from depriving any person of life, liberty, and the pursuit or property without due process of the law, which is what the hell they're trying to do now with rounding up people the way that they are. But it forbids states from denying any person the equal protection of the law. And so this amendment has been used by the courts to apply most of the Bill of Rights to state governments. But the disqualification clause, section 3, prohibits individuals who have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the U.S. from holding federal or state office unless Congress votes to remove the disability. So Brown versus Board of Education in 1954 struck down school segregation. Loving versus Virginia in 1967 legalized interracial marriage. 1967. I was born in 63, good people. Roe v. Wade, 1973, initially recognized the federal right to abortion, later overturned in 2022. Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015 legalized same-sex Obergefell same-sex marriage nationwide. See, when you want to undo the 14th Amendment, you want to undo all these things. Student Fair Admissions versus Harvard 2023 restricted the use of affirmative action in college admissions. See, that's the beginning of this foolishness, right? So the 14th Amendment was one of 3 Reconstruction amendments, along with the 13th and 15th, that passed after the Civil War to address the rights of formerly enslaved people and reshape American constitutional law regarding state power. So when you hear them talk about, and they're whispering it right now, they're not screaming it, but their actions are screaming it, and now that you got this janky ass Supreme Court, they want to undo little by little, piece by piece, the 14th Amendment. And so it's coming. They've already knocked out Roe v. Wade. They're coming for same-sex marriage, right? They're coming for that. They've already came for protections of universities' ability to use statistical data in terms of how they build their campuses. And of course, we've still been living with school segregation since Brown versus the Board of Education. And here in Connecticut is Sheff versus O'Neill, which is just the continuation of Brown versus the Board of Education for Connecticut. So when you hear them want to talk about undoing the 14th Amendment, these are the things that they're coming for. These are the things that they're coming for, So, yeah, this is the stuff that they want to undo. And so this is critical. So if you've not registered to vote, go check your ability to vote. And white women, they coming for y'all with the vengeance, because now the records show that white births are surpassed by black births. White women are not having babies. And so that's making white men anxious. White supremacy can't thrive without majority white people. Now, You don't got to be white to do the work of white supremacy, but it helps. And so white women, now they're telling you, and all of us, but black women are always going to be collateral and second to the ish that they bring to the steps of white women. They're telling you if your license, your birth certificate doesn't match your marriage certificate and all this other kind of stuff, that you will lose your right to vote. And that should give women pause, you know. And I don't think it has seeped in yet, because people don't think it's a big enough deal yet. There's enough of people who do, but not enough to get in these streets stomping and screaming yet. See, because black people, we done seen this story already. Everything that they put in place for y'all, we've already experienced. We've already come through. We've already had poll tax and, the shifting of polling places and reciting the Constitution and naming all the Supreme Court justices. We've already come through all that foolishness. All of it. We've already come through. So now it's your turn to and listen, the women's suffragette movement, y'all got a taste of it. You got a taste of it. You got a taste of it. And some white women lost their lives behind that too. So y'all got to get up off that thing and get out there. And some of y'all are out there. Put your little pink hats on and get out there. Fly your little No Kings flag, whatever it is you got to do. This is critical time. And we've been out there for a long time. Long time. So just pay attention. Because they're coming for these things. They're trying to, undo them right under our very eyes. Seriously, they are trying to undo the 14th Amendment. And anybody who says, "Oh, no, Roe v. Wade has already been overturned," and no one saw that coming. But people were prepared for it always, So, just FYI, we already have segregated schools, and now with this movement to voucher people, students, money follows students, so they're gonna drain public education in lieu of private education, which the records and the data shows, does not provide a better education. You just think it does because it's exclusive. You don't want your kids going to school with black and brown kids, because that's really what private schools are about. I don't want my kids over there with them. And just say that. It's not a better education. It really isn't on core by core. Studies already shown that, but you can't convince people of that. And I get it. What you're buying in a private school is a level of exclusivity. Nicer things. You're paying for nicer things. And if that means a better education for you, then it's a better education. Nicer things, nicer food. Your kids are fed better food. They got access to resources. They got nicer materials to work with. Their classrooms are sunny. Do you know what I mean? Like nothing is run down. So yes, that makes for a nicer education, a better education. All right. And I remember in New Haven when John DeStefano had took it upon himself to renovate all the schools. And people were outraged. They didn't want these little poor ass kids to have shit. Can I say shit, Harry? They didn't want poor neighborhoods to have a damn thing. They didn't want poor kids to have nothing, not books, not a clean classrooms, not fixed tiles, not better bathrooms. People were just up in arms. Why are you spending this money on these schools and blah, 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 blah. Not a whisper about Hopkins and what they do. Not a whisper about Notre Dame and what they do. Not a whisper about all these other private schools and what they do. But somehow or other, you squandering money when you invest in public schools, physical buildings of public schools. People were out their bag. And I want these people to look back and say, was it worth it to you to try to protest unsafe conditions for children? Do you feel proud about that? Like, I don't want to waste money on schools. But what do you think your tax dollars should do? I always want to know what people think they want their tax dollars to do. Oh, we pay so much in taxes. You get so much. And now, granted, the roads are a little trash right now. We had a tough winter. But what do you think your tax dollars pay for? That's what I want people to. I don't think people know. I honestly think that people do not know. People think that people who work in the public sector are just dancing on tables, throwing dollars up, making it rain. I just want to ask people, what do you think your tax dollars pay for? That's the question. I dare say, if we were still doing word on the street, we wouldn't we wouldn't get a good answer, because I don't think people know. Now we know our federal dollars, they pay for primarily fund mandatory programs like Social Security. And they're trying to undo that, right? They're trying to snatch that away. And Medicare, it pays for national defense, which is an exorbitant cost, and interest on the national debt, which is outrageous. If y'all ran your houses the way this administration ran the country, y'all be in the street with cups, talking about alms for the poor. So that makes up the taxes. Also fund healthcare programs, safety net programs, unemployment, and SNAP, infrastructure, and education. So here's where your federal dollars went for 2024, 2025. Social Security, that's 22% of the budget. Provides retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. Just 22% of your federal dollars. Major health programs, another 20%. Funds Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Insurance Program. 13 to 16%. National defense funds the military defense programs and international security assistance. And so you see them trying to roll back some of that. Interest on national debt, 13 to 14%. Safety net programs, 11%. Other public services, roughly 18 to 20%. Support a variety of public services. Veterans and federal retirees. Your roads, bridges, airports, and public transportation. Funding for school training, education, research and development, scientific research, the National Institute of Health, space exploration, law enforcement, federal courts, law enforcement agencies, and the prison system. That's somewhere else your money goes. Then international affairs, humanitarian aid, and U.S. embassies. So you can get the breakdown on your own income tax using tools like federal taxpayer receipt, and it'll tell you where your tax dollars go. Now, what does your local taxes pay? That's a whole. This is where people get tripped up and gets on my nerves. And people get all upset, and I get it. If you got an $800,000 house, you don't want to pay $10,000, but that's what it is, because you live in the city. If you don't want to pay that, move your ass out out wherever there's no taxes, low taxes. But no, you want to enjoy the creature comforts of the city. You like living in a city. How do you think cities run? So, and it takes a little bit of time and effort to sit through the deliberations of budgetary conversations, particularly at the aldermanic level. I've been privy to sitting on those conversations when I was an alderman, and those are not easy conversations. I want people to understand they're not easy conversations. They think local taxes in New Haven primarily consist of a high property tax rate, approximately about 43.88 mils, based on 70% of the 2021 market value, and a standard 6.35% state sales tax. So property tax applies, to real estate, motor vehicles, and personal property, with additional special service districts in certain areas. So our mill rate, grand list mill rate is 39.75, but with combined rates, including citywide phase-ins, often reaching around 43.88 mils or higher in specific districts. The motor vehicles are taxed based on their location as of October 1st, with rates commonly around 43.88 mils. So my car tax was, I don't know, it's like $300, $500, broken up in half. So yeah, I think it was like $500, some old thing. The sales tax is 6.35% on goods and services, with no additional local sales tax added by New Haven. And we could add a tax, right? I mean, we got to get okay to do it. But we got hotels and restaurants. We could add a tax that could fund some stuff. Vehicle sales tax, a higher 7.75% rate. That applies to vehicles over $50,000. I don't have a vehicle over $50,000, and I dare say I don't know too many people who do. So just just so you know what your taxes do. You enjoy Public Works picking up the garbage and the recycling. You enjoy that. You enjoy street sweeping. You enjoy the trees being cut back. You enjoy them staying on top of the roads and highways and byways. You enjoy that. You enjoy a fully present police force, a fully staffed fire department. So these are the things that your tax dollars pay for. In a city this size, you enjoy more than what you pay. I know that sounds crazy because people always want to do some comparative stuff. Oh, well, what they're paying in North Haven. Well, who the hell wants to live in North Haven except the people that live in North Haven? And guess what? When they want a good night out, guess what they do? They come to New Haven. Or when somebody in their family got some kind of illness or whatever, guess where they come? New Haven. Do you understand what I'm going with this? So, yeah, pay what you weigh, people. I get it. We pay lots of taxes. We're not higher than Hampton, though, or West Haven. Woo. So, how you like me now? So, I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll talk some more.
Sitting here, guess I didn't make bail. Got time and a story to tell. Started when I was 9 years old. Woke up and daddy was gone. I started hustling and they couldn't tell me nothing. Frontin' in the hood, trying to be somebody. My soul was on empty. I was searching for something. Tried to be good, tried to keep from trouble. Living too fast, trying to make good on the hustle. Sometimes it get rough. Coming from where I'm from, times got hard, yeah. Coming from where I'm from, sometimes you gotta walk to work, yeah. Coming from where I'm from, sometimes you gotta do a little dirt, yeah. Coming from where I'm from. 6'3", light brown skin, coming from the university. Nice style, looking kinda lovely. Didn't know she had much game. Down the ride out, even take the train, even take her to a poker game. Top notch fried chicken and sushi. Try to be good, tried to treat you like a lady, tried to be a friend, turned out that you were shady. Sometimes I get lonely, coming from where I'm from. Things ain't what they seem to be, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you get a little angry, yeah, yeah. Coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you get the best of me, coming from where I'm from. Well, I tried to be good, wanted nothing but to love somebody. Didn't wanna die young, learning hustling, trying to be my family. Too scared to have kids and do like daddy did, 'cause I'm so scared of failing. Sometimes I get hard, coming from where I'm from. Coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you gotta moan, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you gotta cry a little bit louder, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you gotta fight the pain, yeah. Sometimes you gotta walk alone, yeah. Coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you get a little worried, yeah, yeah. Coming from where I'm from. Sometimes you get lost out of touch, oh, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes I think I pray a little bit too much, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes I get a little scared, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes I get a little scared, coming from where I'm from. Sometimes when I ain't got friends, now coming from where I'm from.
Shouldn't I realize you're it's gonna take until you speak, babe. 'Cause I can't live my life without you here by my side. You gave me the feeling in my life. So shouldn't I realize, oh, you're the highest of the high. Oh, if you don't know, then I'll say it. So don't ever wonder.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org. Welcome back. We are up early this morning. We're talking property taxes. I'm going to bring somebody in to talk more about property taxes. You know, New Haven, being the county's largest city, has its own distinct tax rate. The property tax rate in New Haven is 43.46 mils, which is slightly above the average for Connecticut. This means for every $1,000, babies, assessed property value, residents pay $43.46 in taxes. So, listen, of course, we're slightly higher than East Haven, slightly higher than North Haven, slightly higher than Hamden, slightly higher than West Haven. But guess what? You get all the bang for your buck in New Haven. And some people don't want to pay for that. But there's other things that you think about when you relocate here. You know, you want to think about the educational system, particularly people with kids, or they're gonna have kids. So you want to be in a place where the school systems are gonna give you what you need, what you want, robust education, or you want a cultural hub. New Haven is a cultural hub. You know, meaning there's good theater here, there's good restaurants here, there's good intellectual stimulation here. We are flanked by 3 or 4 universities: Yale, Albertus Magnus, University of New Haven, Southern Connecticut, and Gateway. And so you got all that intellectual stimulation there, right? So that's attractive to people. It's attractive to me. I like being in the midst of a cultural hub. And New Haven has distinct neighborhoods depending on what your appetite is for. If you want a more urban sort of, all of New Haven is urban as far as I'm concerned. But if you want something a little less urban and more suburban, then you move to the Westvilles and Beaver Hill and you know, East Rock kind of vibe. But it's all urban. It's all city. It's all the city. A couple of blocks over, and you in the hood in any direction in any of these neighborhoods. So it's not like that in other places. It's not like that in East Haven. It's not like that in West Haven. It's not like that in North Haven. So there is that trade-off. But the people that live out there in those other places work and enjoy working in New Haven. So just something to think about, good people. Something to think about. Something to think about. Something to think about. Something to think about. So while everybody's up in arms about taxes, you got to weigh that against what we get. And I know education is the biggest drain on any municipality's budget. How do you pay to educate? And we've got a lot of different kinds of schools in New Haven. We've got neighborhood schools and magnet schools and standalone school, charter schools. So there's a lot of opportunities for different kinds of educational pursuits for your children and for yourselves. So that weighs on people when they're making decisions about where they want to live. If they want to live outside of town or inside of town. And I've known people who lived in town and moved out of town and moved back to town because back to town. Back to town. So anyway, I'll say that. So make your decisions, Babas, as best you can. Make your decisions, but don't, do your research and get educated about what it is your tax dollars pays for. So you're not out here just, popping off at the mouth to coin a phrase from our former and best President Obama. Don't be out here popping off at the mouth. Don't be out here popping off at the mouth. So yeah, I'm just suggesting that do your work. I think of course, there's got to be a real conversation about how we fund public education, because we cannot continue to fund public education on the backs of property taxes. That's a given. And we know that. I hope we know that, moving forward into the future. I think some of it, yes, but not all of it is the way that we've been doing it. And we've got to get people in the room of all kinds of thought process to think about how to do this. And we have to make space for it. And I think that kind of leadership has to come from the governor's office. But if the governor doesn't exhibit that kind of leadership, then at the state legislative level, they've got to invite people around the table to have these conversations about what realistically can be done about funding education. Seriously, it needs to be a public-private kind of conversation. Public-private meaning private institutions and public-facing institutions have to have get people around the table, and have these real conversations. And it's not going to be like one conversation. One conversation is not going to solve this. You need a series of conversations, and maybe they're already doing it. I don't know. I'm not in a whole lot. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not in a whole lot of spaces. I used to be in a whole lot of spaces, but I'm not in a whole lot of spaces. But I do think it warrants a bigger conversation. Somebody has to take leadership of having this conversation about what it looks like. We have to look historically how public education got funded through property tax, and then what that looks like across the board, and then the things that we do fund through public education, what works in public education, what doesn't work in public education, but not in a sense to foster blame, because I think oftentimes we don't allow public education to dream and reimagine education. We just don't do that. And I wish we had more opportunity to take chances in education. And I don't mean like take chances like just folly, do stupid stuff, but there's some real sort of thought leaders out there who are thinking about education in a very different way, aside from just charter schools. But I think there's some things that we can do in public schools. I mean, I grew up, I remember when I was a kid, I was in a bilingual class when I was in like third or fourth grade. And it has stayed with me all these years, where I'd learn Spanish and the Spanish speaking kids would learn English. And then there was a mix of other kids, like there was a couple of Chinese kids in there, right? So we were all learning each other's languages and songs, all this kind of stuff. And I still remember that at 63 years old. I still have such fond memories of that classroom. And I think I would like to see more of that, but we don't do that. Well, I mean, thank God we don't shun children who speak a different language out of the classroom, that they're integrated into the classroom now. Just like we are integrating children who are on the spectrum into classrooms. Now, I know some children can't be integrated that way, but the majority, a good majority can be. And I love that, because it does a couple of things. It teaches kids, one, empathy, and an awareness of something other than themselves about how people learn, how people live, and all that. I like seeing a classroom that has, kids and neurodivergent kids, all these different kind of kids in the classroom, because that makes learning so broader and so richer. And I don't understand these people who want to curtail that, who want to just like a homogenous existence for their children. I want my kids, listen, if there's trans kids, I want my kids to be in that classroom. If they're gay kids, I want kids to be in that classroom. If there's Haitian kids, I want them to be in that classroom. If they're Vietnamese and Laotian kids and all the I want them in. I want Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition, because it makes us better when we develop kids to understand there are other kinds of people in the world that they can get to know and engage in, so that when they're in the world, it's not a shock to them. And white people, y'all got to come up off this. I just want my kids to go to school with other white kids. That's like not having any seasoning at the house. All you got is salt and pepper and barely. Like our strength is in the various kinds of people that call these shores their home, and they bring their culture. Because y'all don't got no problems appropriating culture, and by appropriation I mean stealing. You got no problem stealing it. You got no problem stealing it. Y'all will talk about Mexicans all day and then sit your asses down and eat tacos and empanadas and enchiladas and throw back tequila all day and night. But you don't like Mexicans. You got your lips out about Chinese people, but you'll be in their neighborhoods buying Chinese food. You don't like Haitians, but you over there getting their jollof rice or the Haitian version of rice. They make a good ass. You ever had that Haitian black rice? You ever seen that? Whew, baby, So I don't understand this denigration of culture when you benefit and accept and find useful and of the cultures that bring to these shores. That's the problem I have with white supremacy, because there's nothing supreme about white. Y'all have to draw from so many things just to get a culture. I know English as a second language is a target, and this is the killer for me. I don't understand why you would not. And immigrant families are guilty of this too, and I understand it. I understand it. When they come over here, they'll be like, "Don't speak the language. We want to assimilate. We want to get in here. Don't speak the language. Don't draw attention. Learn English. We're not going to speak the language." But there were some families that were like, "At the house, we're going to speak the language, and in the streets, you're going to speak whatever the white folks are speaking." And we don't even realize that people from other cultures come over here and they're already bilingual, and we send our kids someplace and they only speak one language. And by our kids, I mean, Western kids. And we think that's superior. How do we think that's superior? How do you fix your mouth to say speaking one language is superior, and these kids come over here and they speak 2 or 3 languages? That don't make no sense to me. But white supremacy is crazy like that. They want you to believe that speaking one language is superior to everybody else. That whiteness is superior. It's not. And I don't hate all white people. Some of y'all I hate, but not all of y'all. Because I get the John Brown of y'all. I get there's some white folks out there who are about that life. Who are about it. Who are about it. I'm not talking. Listen, my disdain for white folks do not include them. And if you feel hit by that, then you've got some white supremacy work to do. You really do. You really do. You really do. And the older I get, the more I see it. The more I'm like, oh, sounds about white to me. And I get it. There's this real sense of fear, and it's irrational fear that white people have about black people in leadership at any turn. Not everybody, because there's some white people who are like, Kamala Harris should have been president. Hillary Clinton should have been president. I don't think you just need a penis to be president. I think a vagina could be president. Just if you own a vagina and you got some sense on the top of your head, I think you could be president. I know you could be president. And once we get one, we're not turning back. I think that's the fear. I think that's the fear. This level of hatred. And I don't even want to try to understand racism. And there are scholars out there who do a damn good job, who lay it out for you. And you could follow them on all the social media sites. And they lay it out in layman's terms. And I admire those people. And they do battle with these people who are stupid. Me, I don't have the patience. I cannot talk to people who are stupid. It just makes me itch. I cannot stand it. And I'm not even the smartest bulb in the box by any stretch. Any stretch. Any stretch. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a scientist. I'm not any of those things. But what I do know, I have a sense of what is right and what is wrong. And I know something about history. I know something about geography. And I know something about humanity. I do. And so, and I'm curious. I have a very curious sort of sense of, I want to know what other people are doing in the world. I want to know about other cultures. I want to know about other food. I want to know about other theater. I want to know about customs. I want to know about ritual. I want to know about religious application of other people. You know, I do. I like that. And and I've always been curious like that. And I want to see curiosity everywhere because when you are curious, good things can happen. Amazing things can happen if you stop othering people and lean into the curiosity of people. You know, what else do they have that they can bring to this table? And we have a big buffet table. You know, why do we want to chop up the buffet table? Why? See, that's the level of white supremacy that is dangerous. That others people and says, you know, you're not like me, and so I hate you. Man, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. You know, and I think it's fair because you know white folks know they don't bring nothing to the table. Not all of them, not the majority of them. They don't bring nothing to the table but whiteness, and that's their own fear. It's an internal fear. You know, and listen, there's nowhere in history that has shown you that black people would be like white people. We just wouldn't be. You know what we want to do? We want to live our lives, raise our kids, have nice community, do good stuff. But yeah, but they never let us be great. Not from Tulsa, not to Rosewood, not to Wilmington. You know, they just never would let us be great. You know, at every attempt, you know, it was always let's kill them, let's maim them, let's harm them. You know, when you look at the totality of this is why I got to make my way down to Alabama to the Equal Justice Center. I got to make my way. When you look at the totality of lynching in this country from the time lynching started to like now, it is astounding. It is astounding. And I know people are like, oh, the Emmett Till thing. Yes, Emmett Till it is pivotal because that was our first sort of public awareness raising of the problems that still persisted around race matters in this country. And it still goes on now. You know, people, you remember that moment where people were leaving, there was a firehouse somewhere and they were leaving nooses around and they deemed that a hate crime. You know, because we know what a noose is. If you hang a noose in somebody's house, you know what that is. When you put a noose at their doorstep, you know what you are saying. That's a hate crime. You mean me no goodwill when you do that. You know, you mean me no goodwill. And so so we understand that. And so that still lives with us. Or when you have these stand your ground laws and people could just shoot at black people because, you know, they drive up to their driveway trying to get directions because they're lost and they're turned around or they're at the wrong address. It's, you know, 82 Maple Avenue and they're at 82 Maple Street and you shoot at them. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of ridiculousness, you know, that is outrageous. Or you have a police force that has such hatred of black people that they're willing to kill under the guise of a blue shield and get away with it. Not all police officers. This is never about all of anything. This is never about all of anything, you know, but too many. It's about too many, not all, too many. And so because of the too many, we find ourselves in a precarious moment, right? Of where are we going to go from here? Where are we going to go from here? And we got to make some decisions. We got to do it quick, fast, in a hurry. So I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk some more. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Harry.
I'm gonna take myself a piece of sunshine and paint it all over my sky, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. I'm gonna take the song from every bird and make them sing it just for me, yeah. got something to teach us all about being free, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. And I think I'll call it morning from now on.